So there's a big machlokas in the Rishonim about standing for the Aseret Hadibros. Some places have a custom to stand, some places have a custom not to stand. So the first person that really, the most famous source that came out against the minhag was the Rambam. The Rambam was sent a letter about this issue, that some people had the custom to stand and some people didn't. And what did he think? And the Rambam thought it was a terrible idea. He said standing for the Ten Commandments is a big mistake, because when you stand for the Ten Commandments, what you do is you emphasize them over other mitzvos in the Torah. Now it's interesting, what exactly about the Aseret Hadibros, what makes them so special? Are they special? Are they not special? But they're definitely not the only part of the Torah. So the rest of the time we're listening to Kriyas HaTorah and we're sitting there and we're just sitting back in our seats, and then when it comes time for the Aseret Hadibros we stand up. So the Rambam said everyone's going to say these are the most important Ten Commandments. Other ones don't really matter so much, and it was going to give people a terrible impression. So the Rambam was opposed. He said even if your shul had that minhag, they should get rid of the minhag, and everybody should, either if you're standing or sitting for laning, whatever you do, but you should be consistent throughout all that time. So one of the responses, the response of the Chida, was that the Rambam's concern is not such a big issue, because we're not just standing for the Aseret Hadibros, and we're not just listening to the Aseret Hadibros. We read the Aseret Hadibros 3 times a year, but each time that we read them, we read parts of the parsha before, parts of the parsha after. We listen to the Chumash every week. So he said, yeah, maybe we'll stand up, but it's not like we're saying this is the only part of the Torah that we care about. But why would you stand? Why a lot of shuls do, I don't know if they do here in Forest Hill, but probably stand for the Aseret Hadibros, and in most places they do. So what are we doing? Are we saying that the Aseret Hadibros are more important than everything else? Or are we standing for a different reason? So what a lot of the Mefarshim explain is that we don't stand for the Aseret Hadibros to emphasize that they're more significant than other mitzvos that we do, but we stand for the Aseret Hadibros because we're trying to reenact the experience at Har Sinai. The experience at Har Sinai was one that wasn't just a revelation of now we have mitzvos that we didn't have before, but the revelation is one of the most important foundations of our faith. The Kuzari talks about the experience at Har Sinai separates us from other religions, that we didn't have one person experiencing revelation from God, but we experienced it as a nation. And that is one approach to what we did this past Shavuos. We stand for the Aseret Hadibros because we say that just like our forefathers were willing to make that commitment of Naaseh v'Nishma, it's not sufficient for us to depend on that and say our forefathers accepted it and now we're just going to go with the flow. But we have to look at ourselves, our communities, our generation, and ourselves as individuals, and we have to be willing to accept the Torah every year, every time the Ten Commandments come around.